Okay, at number 13 and 14, we're going to do another addition and subtraction question. So let's go ahead to 13. Looks like on number 13 we have some factoring that needs to get done first before we can come up with a common denominator. And as I look at this, the second fraction looks much easier to factor than the first. So I'm going to go ahead and try to factor this second fraction first. Looks like we need an x in both, and then we need factors of negative 12 that get you positive 1. So we're looking for factors of 12 that are only 1 away from each other. So that would be 4 and 3. And since we end up with a positive 1, we would need a positive 4 and a negative 3. The largest number would need to be positive. Okay. Now, as you're factoring the first one, we know there's a high probability that they may share a common factor already. So we know 4 doesn't go into 3, but we know this negative 3 would go into 3. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. I'm going to leave one of these factors as an x minus 3 and see what the other factor would need to be. Well, x times 2x would get you the 2x squared, and negative 3 times a negative 1 would get you a positive 3. Let's see if we get a negative 7x there. 2x times negative 3 gets you negative 6x. Negative 1 times x gets you negative 1x. Negative 6 and negative 1 gets you negative 7. So that appears that has worked. Okay? So we now have our new denominators, and now we just need to make them look the same. So what does this denominator have that this one does not? It appears that it has an x plus 4. So whatever you do to the bottom, we need to do to the top. And now what's over here that's not over there? Looks like we need a 2x minus 1. And whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. Okay. So now we have ourselves a common denominator, which is x plus 4, 2x minus 1, and an x minus 3. And now we're ready to combine our numerators. So we are going to need to distribute. However, since we're just distributing ones, nothing's going to change. So we're going to get an x plus 4 plus a 2x minus 1. We can now combine up like terms. X plus 2x is 3x. 4 and a negative 1 gets you a positive 3. Okay, and that's over x plus 4, 2x minus 1, and x minus 3. Now, we should see if we can factor this, and we can. You can take a 3 out, which leaves you with x plus 1. But it doesn't appear that x plus 1 can cancel. So we can go ahead, we can leave our answer as 3x plus 3 over a common denominator, or you could write it as 3 times x plus 1. Whichever one works for you, I will accept either answer. Okay. On 14, we're subtracting in this case. And again, we should factor first. However, looks like x plus 2 is already factored and x minus 3 is already factored. So we just want to go ahead and make the denominators look the same. So what's missing over here? Looks like we're missing an x minus 3. So whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the top. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So we need an x minus 3 on the top. Then over here, looks like we're missing an x plus 2. So whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. Okay. And this one looks a little complicated here. We have to FOIL that out. And so we're ready to go ahead and get our new common denominator of x minus 3, x plus 2. So I'm going to go ahead and FOIL this. We're going to get x squared. Your outer terms and inner terms are both negative 3x's, which combined together gets you negative 6x, and your last term is positive 9. So that's your first fraction. Okay, that's the numerator for your first fraction, and from that we're going to subtract off what we get when we FOIL out your second one. 2x times x is 2x squared. Your outer terms get you positive 4x, and your inners get you negative 1x, which is positive 3x, and your last terms get you negative 2. Now here we've got to watch because we're subtracting off all three of these terms. Okay, so let's rewrite our fraction here. X minus 3, x plus 2. And first trinomial here, we can just drop the parentheses. Second one, we have to distribute this negative, so it's minus 2x squared minus 3x plus a 2. Okay. Now we combined up like terms. Negative x squared, x squared minus 2x squared is negative x squared. Negative 6 and negative 3 gets you negative 9x, and then 9 plus 2 is 11. Okay. And that's over our common denominator of x minus 3, x plus 2, and the only factors of 11 are 1 and 11, none of which are a 3 or a 2, so we don't even need to worry about trying to simplify this fraction. Even if you could factor the numerator, you'd have a 1 and 11, which isn't a 3 or a 2, so that's that one.